Hey guys, I'm DrSharnael Wolverton-Sehon, and I have some really juicy science for you today. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, and I know that you guys are too. It's Sunday, and so it's a steady day for me, and a day of stillness and rest, and I hope that it is for you too. This is gonna blow. Hey, Carlin. This is crazy, awesome science. You guys are gonna love this. So we're talking about stillness this morning, just for a few minutes. Stillness, quietness, and how it affects the body on an electrical level, and also has a lot to do with the pineal gland, which I may have to do a part 2 because there is so much to unpack here. But in electric theory, you guys, the less resistance you have in a wire, the more easily that wire has the ability to hold energy, to transfer energy, to be a conduit, to amplify energy. And so in electricity, like if you have wires outside, when there's no resistance in the wire, when there's no resistance in that wire, it has that ability to flow and hold energy and be a great conduit. Now, we have an electrical system in our body. Pardon the dog talking and screaming. Can you hear me? Robin, are you there? We have an electrical system in our body. It's like trees. It's invisible, and yet it's there. And there can be disruptions in the electrical parts of our body, and sometimes we can even be backwards in that energy. And when that happens, it can cause health issues, and that's why there's different people who work with things to help make that go forward. You can actually muscle test, you could tap, there's a lot of things. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but we do have an electrical system in our body, and that's really important. When we get still and quiet and get in a place of prayer, meditation, just being still and taking days off, taking time to rest, that electrical system doesn't have the resistance, and it is able to flow and be a conduit the way it needs to, the way it's required. And it has an ability and an absorption capacity for information. And so it can be more fluent and the way of letting energy flow throughout the body, which is also very good for healing and health, okay? The other thing I'd like to say is when that electricity is flowing the way it should be, and it's amplified in the way it should be, then it can actually help send a surge of energy to the pineal gland, which is back here in the brain. And the pineal gland is very important in helping your awareness and your activity. Some people in some circles would call it the third eye or something, but it's in science, it's the place of awakening or connection to God, connection to other people. And honestly, back in the Second World War, Hitler found out that if you supply fluoride in any way, when you supply that fluoride, it can actually calcify the pineal gland. And when it's calcified, your connection to other people isn't there. You feel separated and alone. You're very easily under brainwashing powers. You're kind of zombified, actually. You can believe things easily and not think for yourself, or have empathy for other people because that separation is there. There's no connection. There's no feelings towards other people. And so he put fluoride in the water, which some people are still using fluoride in the water. And that calcifies the pineal gland. Also, synthetic calcium will calcify the pineal gland. So we want to stay away from anything that calcifies the pineal gland. If you're looking for a water filter, go to swiftfire.org. Swiftfire.org in the wellness section, there's a great water filter there that can get fluoride out. But another situation is, so you don't want to have fluoride, you don't want to use synthetic calcium, but for ways to calcify the pineal gland, stillness is a really great way to do that, because it sends the electric current in amplified and bigger ways, so we can not only send that shock or surge of energy to the pineal gland to help calcify it, so we have a better feeling of connection with God and other people, and we feel more as a community. Now, let's see, there's so much to say here. On a scriptural basis too, the scripture I just read this morning was deep calls to deep. I know I've used that many, many times. I love that scripture, but I never really broke it down into the Strongs. Deep calls to deep. It says, at the sound of your waterfalls. When I looked that up, for some reason I woke up with that on my mind. And deep calls to deep at the sound. Sound in the Strongs for that actually means a voice or voices or thunder. Of your waterfalls, that word waterfalls is Strong 6794B. Hey, Jeannie. Which means a pipe or a spout or a conduit. Y'all, electricity. All the breakers of the waves have rolled over me. That word rolled over is 5674A in Strong's, which doesn't just mean to pass over you, but it means to pass through you, in you, around you. And so, hey, Deborah, so as we get quiet and as we have less resistance in the electrical field, then we're a better conduit and we can actually hear the sound, the vibration of who God is through us, to us, around us, through our whole body in that electrical system. It can help decalcify the pineal gland, which causes us to have more awakeness and ability to connect with others and to remember our world fully loved and to feel that love and feel feelings towards other people and ourselves. And it also helps, like I said, helps decalcify. But here's another kicker. When we are still and when we have that electrical system going full force as a conduit, as energy with no resistance, again, the path of least resistance, when we have that stillness and that quiet, another thing that happens as the electrical system amps up and is able to receive and feel and be awake, there is a chemical that's released from the pineal gland called DMT. Now, DMT is released when you're born and when you die and during deep stages of prayer, stillness, meditation. DMT is a chemical that allows you really to be able to see, feel, hear, understand, know things that you shouldn't know on your own. It's again, why some groups of people would talk about the third eye. The pineal gland is very, very spiritual and scientifically proven to have that connection with people and God and just an awakening. And so it's not like, you know, whatever, you can call it whatever you choose, but science says that this DMT is super important. Now, personally, I know a lot of people are really connected to God, whether you can call them prophetic or whatever have you. Maybe they have a super decalcified pineal gland. Or maybe they're doing things and being still to have that connection and be able to hear from God and to know what God's saying and to know how to orchestrate the things of God because they have that connection to God. There some other ways that you can help release DMT and anything to kind of spice up the electrical system. There are certain stretches that you can do that actually amplify the decalcification of the pineal gland, but also amplify the connection and or conduit ability of your electrical system, which again touches the pineal gland. Certain stretches. Now, don't be mad at me. We talked about yoga. You can say whatever you want. The word yoga means union, but literally all the stretches in yoga do those things. Now, I'm not going to get in a debate about yoga. I personally believe that the word yoga, which means union, was the word at one time, and someone took it and made a practice out of it, made a religion out of it, and there's a lot of spooky stuff that comes with that and a lot of negative things that come with that. But there's also science-based things that we can do that actually give you a connection to God that you couldn't any other way. There's just, maybe other ways, but I'm just saying there are certain positions, I'll just say that, there's certain positions that we can do stretching that help with the electrical system, and they happen to be the same ones that they do during yoga, whether it's God yoga or whatever kind of yoga. I'm not going to get into that debate. I had asked about that earlier a few weeks ago, and there was that was a hot topic. But I'm just talking about the science of what happens when you do those stretches. There is a lot of things that come with that on a good way. And awakening, you can have emotional releases that way. Now, again, going back to the word yoga, I think there are words that we use, like the word gay. I'm just going to say it. That means something different now. No judgment either way, but it does mean two different things. It's a culture of people who do different things and who are a different group of people that you can associate with that word. But it's also the word happy. And same with yoga. You can associate that. You could do it in politics. There are different words that we've all used. We've changed over time. And I just think that yoga is a word that means union, that had positions that now actually can mean a lot of other things to a lot of people. We could talk about karate. We could talk about Halloween. There's so much debate on so many different things. And I think it's just about you, where you got to be, what you're supposed to be doing. And I think the stretches on a science basis, whether you call it yoga or just stretching, is going to do something to your body. That's all I'm saying, okay? I hope that makes sense. I choose to know. Some other ways that you can release DMT, raindrop therapy, because when you're... And that's going to induce an electric current up the spine through all of your electrical system, and that's going to make an awesome ability for deep calls to deep. So exercise, stretching, DMT, and then here's another one, float tank. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of float tank. Float tank is basically you go into a pod, and inside the pod there's water and a lot of magnesium and different things that help support the body. And you go in this pod for a sustained amount of time. You could do 30 minutes, an hour and a half. Sometimes it takes a little while, but you're floating in this water and you're not wearing clothes, which, hey, whatever. But and I'll tell you why. When you go in float tank, the lights are out, so you have no sensitivity to eyes or light. You have no gravity because you're floating. You're just in this sustained place of literally removing all of the sensitivities that you normally would have being sitting on your couch or going for a walk. And so removing the resistance. When your body has to walk or talk or sit or whatever, you might be thoughtfully thinking, I wonder what the temperature is, and I wonder if my heart's racing, or I want to make sure my organs are working today, or I wonder, let's see if the law of gravity works. Like, we're not thinking about all those things all day long, but your body is doing them whether you're conscious of it or not. When you go into float tank, all of those things are removed. And so your body can work on other things, whether it's health and immunity. Your brain waves actually drop way into delta, and DMT can be released because, again, your body doesn't need to be doing all these other things. It doesn't need to worry about gravity or light, and that's why clothes, if you wear clothes and you're floating and all of a sudden your shirt, arm hits against your arm, then immediately you're going to be brought back to thinking about where you are and what you're doing, and touch will be an issue. And so they even remove touch, light, touch, sound. You're not hearing anything. Everything is removed, so there's no resistance. And when there's no resistance, that electrical part of you is fully amplified, a conductor, able to receive, to give, to feel. And again, that theory of the electric theory is there. When you have the less resistance you could possibly have, the wire can be a better conduit and to receive and to give and to feel. And so getting into that quiet place, even with the stretching, I think a lot of reasons why people go to any kind of exercise with the stretching thing is there's also a time of just being quiet and rest. And you're not like in a Zumba class where they're blasting the music. I mean, you're in a quiet place of just stretching and or doing whatever. Same with emotional release that sometimes happens with raindrop. When you're in a raindrop, you're in a quiet setting. I usually would not play music or anything. You're just sitting there and you're able to slow down and just receive and feel and let that current go through your body the way it should. So again, this was way more than I thought I was going to unpack, and there's a lot more to it having to do with neuroscience. And but when the body becomes more fluent, the easier that God thought and truth can come through as we are allowing it. And deep can truly call to deep. And by deep, going to deep, again, we're talking about being a pipeline of information, being a pipeline of love, being a pipeline of God's love to us. It says deep calls to deep, meaning he can come in and it says not just pass over you with his sound and his voice, but pass through you, around you, over you, in you. He is moving through you, and then also decalcifying this, which causes your ability to connect with the world. So again, I love you guys. I choose to know if this even made sense or if this helped you guys at all. Like I said, going back to all of these things, some of them kind of heated, and I'm not going to debate all of these things. I'm talking about the science. The science is what happened, what I love, and the way God is using the science to help confirm some of the things that have been healthy and fruitful to us, not only on a health-wise and like an immunity type thing, but with a spirit thing and a God connection. So if this is something that's helped you, I hope you share it. Tag your friends, share it to your friends on Facebook. If you're not my friend, you can hit the follow button for more of this. Tomorrow I'm going to go into some more things on judgment, which I am just like, the stuff that I've been getting is, oh my God, you guys are going to freak out tomorrow. It is like, I'm serious. So stay tuned, but hit the follow button and you can get these videos. You can also go to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I'm in a lot of stuff, but there's lots of videos. And then my Divine Science and the Human Body. You guys get in that group because those are some more private videos that I have. This week we have Jeanette Cheney, who's the Wellness Center owner and director in Kalispell. She's going to talk about detoxification and juicing. And then we have Dr. Reed, who's going to be with us this week, the 26th at 7 Central. And he's going to be speaking on epigenetics and how we can change our DNA. Okay, you know I love that. And you guys are going to have a good time. So get in the Divine Science group. Go ahead and sign up. It's totally free, and there's tons of videos in there. But those classes are going to be live in that group this week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. So hop on that. I love you guys. Thanks, Elizabeth, Carlin, Pete. Y'all are amazing. I thank you for your support, and I bless all of y'all. Keep on seeking and searching truth, you guys. Truth is the only way. Deep calls to deep. Let's get still, and let's receive God's love today on this Sunday. The Sunday is the day we're supposed to be resting. So let's rest and hear God. All right. Love you.